What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with one of my Friday real life gaming ramble videos. We're going to talk about a couple things today. I tend to kind of do these on Friday, just talk about what's going on in my life and ramble about some gaming stuff too. So today we're going to be covering a little bit of everything. There's been a lot going on and a lot of gaming stuff going on too. I wanted to kind of just do a general video on. Didn't really want to dedicate a single video to any of this stuff, so just felt like I'd jump on and ramble a little bit today. So I hope you guys are having a great Friday. Of course, for this weekend, it's a great time of year. It's fall. The weather's starting to get a little bit cooler. And, of course, college football. Tomorrow's Saturday. My team's got a big game at noon tomorrow against Baylor. I'm a WVU fan, and, again, it looks like we suck this year. I think this is finally going to be the year we get rid of our coach we've had for the last couple seasons, because he has not been doing really all that good. Anyways, moving on, we've got a little bit of Mass Effect 3 gameplay in the background here. This is going to be a gold run, actually. I'll be using the Geth Juggernaut here. I'm actually going to be doing a commentary on this gold gameplay video here, giving some tips and things for people who want to try to play some gold later on. Look for that video probably next week sometime, but it's going to be something else I'll be working on. So, anyways, real life, kind of the same old story, still looking for a job. Been putting out tons of resumes every week. I've lost track at this point where how many resumes I've put out, and at certain times it starts to feel like, what am I doing wrong? I know I've got good skills for all the jobs I'm looking at. Even I've got one of my recruiters down here looking for me, and I don't know, just either the economy is just really terrible right now, or things are just, I just don't have any luck. But I did get a couple phone calls. I've got a couple interviews lined up next week, so hopefully we'll get something at least. I did apply for a bunch of seasonal jobs at some of the local sporting goods stores and Lowe's and Home Depot. Can at least go work in the garden center or do something there and at least make a little bit of money. So who knows? I think part of the problem with a lot of those jobs, they always say now hiring, but it's like when they see somebody that comes in and they give you unfortunately on my resume, it's like I have all these specialized job skills that I've been doing for the last 10 years. It's like, I've worked in landscaping, I've done all the retail stuff and worked in fast food and all that, but it was back when I was in high school and college, and so now they're kind of like, you put they want your experience from your last 3 or 4 jobs, and it's like you're putting down all these jobs with, different qualifications and, different skills that really don't apply to what you're trying to do if you go work at one of these seasonal places. And so they're, I guess, a little bit less prone to hire you. Plus, they're probably also afraid you're also looking for a real job at the same time, like to do something in your profession, and you're going to leave as soon as you can. And I understand that attitude, but at the same time, I'm like, if people want to we just want to work. I don't care what my job is. I just want to work and make some money so I can support myself and and live. So it gets kind of frustrating, but I'm trying not to get too down, trying to stay positive for the most part. I've got a lot of time during the day now, obviously. So what I've been trying to do is been trying to make some more videos, been trying to work on videos, and also trying to go to the gym a little bit more, get back on some kind of a workout schedule. I'm going about 4 days a week now. I've lost 9 pounds since I moved down here, so that's pretty good. I'm not like overweight or anything, but I definitely have a little bit of a beer belly and I just want to kind of get back down to a weight where I feel like I'm back where I was when I used to do athletics all the time and used to cycle and do all kinds of stuff. So I was up to 262. I'm now down to 253 when I got on the scale on Monday. So I'm hoping next Monday when I jump on there, I'll be in the 240s maybe. We'll see. But I've been hitting the elliptical real hard and doing some biking and things. Nice thing about being down here is it's we're getting into the middle of October. It's still almost 80 degrees down here, and it's actually going to get cooler this weekend. They're talking about how it's going to be cold. It's going to be like in the low 60s. I'm like, guys, it's not cold, So that's the one nice thing about being back down south. And I did find a couple of really nice mountain bike trails real close by the house. So going to probably start doing that when the weather cools off and it's in the mid 60s. It's nice and shady and things. So going to get back into riding the bike a little bit. Now, when I moved down here, I did have 2 bicycles, which is pretty cool, and one of them was a higher end bike that I had purchased when I was up in Pittsburgh, and I only paid about $250 for it. And actually, at the time when I bought it, it's a very expensive bike. It's a very specialized brand, and so I was going to sell I had 2 bikes, and obviously I only need one, so I decided, one of the things I do when I'm unemployed for a long period of time is you got to kind of start looking around at things that you have that you don't really need. It's like, well, what can I make money on, whether it's eBay or Craigslist or something, that's one way to try to make a little bit of money. And I decided I was going to sell one of my bikes, and so I was going to do it up in Pittsburgh. And unfortunately, the market up there, there are a couple really nice bike trails, but of course, you can only bike so often during the year because they actually get real winter up there, and it's a couple months out of the year you can't do outdoor stuff. So I was thinking, I said, I'm going to wait till I get back down to Georgia, and I'm going to try to sell it down there because the biking market down here is just massive. And I'm glad I did that because I put it up on Craigslist, and literally within 24 hours I had a guy contact me about the bike, and we met like the next day, and he couldn't write me the check for it fast enough. It was pretty funny. It was like, and so I'm wondering if I didn't ask enough money for it, but I got like almost 3 times as much as I would have if I had sold it up in Pittsburgh. So on one hand, I'm happy, but on the other hand, it's like, man, I probably could have got a little bit more money, but I didn't want to be greedy. And, thankfully, selling that bike gave me a little bit of breathing room on a couple of bills. I was able to, unfortunately, I had to use most of that money for, things like car payment and health insurance and all kinds of other stuff. So, the unfortunate part of real life, is bills and things. Even if you're not working, everybody expects to still get their money, which that really sucks about the real world sometimes. You might not be working for a couple months, but the government still expects you to pay taxes, and credit card companies expect you to pay your bill and car payment and all that stuff. So real life issues, I guess. Could be worse. I know there's a lot of people that are having it a lot worse right now. So not going to complain too much. I'm just happy I got a roof over my head, and I'm kind of bored, honestly. That's one of the main reasons I want to have a job is I kind of miss being able to get up every day and go to work and have that productive part of my life. So really am missing that quite a bit, but the economy right now is just really crappy. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get some good news on that sooner or later. But that's about really all that's going on in real life. So let's get into some gaming stuff. Talk a little bit about Destiny here, I guess, for a little bit. They canceled Trials of Osiris this weekend, which is kind of interesting. Apparently, if you guys weren't aware of this, there's been a glitch that's been discovered, or a bug, with the Night Stalker subclass with the Hunter, where they can basically get unlimited shadow shot in PvP, and this is just causing all kinds of headaches for people. And they decided to go ahead and cancel Trials of Osiris because that's unfortunately how bad gamers are these days. If they find one of these exploits, they're just going to sit there and milk it as much as they can. So this is kind of a two-pronged problem. Number one, the people find these things, and of course they post all these videos on YouTube of how to do this glitch, and of course then it gets all over the place, and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to do this glitch and take advantage of it and just destroy in PvP. And then the other part of that problem too is on Bungie. Bungie came out and they did the weekly update. They're like, oh, we have to cancel Trials of Osiris because we found the glitch. People are taking advantage of the glitch. And I'm like, on one hand, I'm like, but this is also your fault because you guys obviously are not testing this game well enough. When we're talking about Destiny, because every time there's a new DLC, a new release with Destiny, a new patch, there's always some of these just huge game-breaking bugs and problems with subclasses. The Titans, they had that unlimited, that hammer glitch where they were throwing millions of hammers. That was more of a PvE thing, but now Night Stalkers can get unlimited super and, in Trials of Osiris and PvP. And this has been a problem in Iron Banner. I've actually run into a few teams of Night Stalkers who are doing this, and it just makes it completely unenjoyable. And it's really hard to counter, obviously, because everybody's got, when you're going up against unlimited supers, it's kind of ridiculous. So that's a little bit of an issue, and of course, it was also interesting, the weekly update, Bungie was talking about how one of the questions people were asking was, why is the lag so bad in Iron Banner? When are you going to fix the lag? And that's something we've been asking Bungie to do for at least 6 or 7 months now. And Bungie's response, as usual, was that, it's either your connection is bad or people are using lag switching and messing with the network. They don't want to take any responsibility. They don't want to say, hey, we could get some dedicated servers, or we're gonna look at the network on our end and see if there's something that we can do. Because I can tell you, for the longest time I played Destiny, I've had really solid internet, and I still get huge lag problems in Iron Banner. It's not my connection, and I'm not, I don't think I'm playing against lag switchers every match. The lag in Destiny is just terrible when you're talking about PvP. It's worse than Call of Duty, especially for people, if you have a really good internet connection. It's almost like, what's the point? There's just really no point to it. But yeah, so that's something I'm actually going to be doing a video, probably come out next week. It's going to be called My Destiny Dilemma, because I got to be honest, guys, I'm at the point now with Destiny where I really don't even want to play the game anymore. I don't really want to cover the game anymore and give it any more publicity on my channel. I know a lot of people are always like, well, you're doing good videos and calling Bungie out, but as Activision would probably attest to, there is no bad publicity for these companies. If I'm putting it out there, it's getting views, people are seeing the game, and some people may go buy the game. Who knows? But I'll cover that in a big, long video I'm going to do about Destiny in general. And I don't know. The thing is, number one, there's really nothing to do in the game, and we obviously you're going to have to wait another 4 or 5 months for another DLC pack. And while initially I was kind of excited for some of the stuff I saw in the Taken King, like the strikes and the mechanics and things, I've now found out, of course, that a lot of that was, it's just like they slapped a new coat of paint on a really crappy looking 80-year-old building. It's the same game. No matter what they change, Destiny at its core remains the same kind of lackluster grind fest, and I'm just tired of it. I just don't even want to play the game anymore. I've actually deleted 2 characters on my PlayStation 4 account. I had all 3 before and was running through all 3, obviously, because I wanted to try the new subclasses. I deleted the Hunter, deleted my Titan, just went back to playing only my Warlock now. Because I just quite honestly don't want to even get on and do things during the day. Like, I used to get on every day and at least run some bounties, play a little PvP, but now it's like I don't even want to play the game. It's just so, I don't know, such a letdown. And this Iron Banner, I figured, I said, I'm going to give Iron Banner one more chance. I said, this is the new Iron Banner with the new weapon meta and all this BS, and we'll give it one more try. This Iron Banner has been the most unenjoyable Iron Banner, I think, since Destiny has been out. I'm not sure why. It's just all they did with the weapons is basically shotguns are still the same. They're still killing from a good range. They took shot package out of the game. It doesn't really matter. Everybody's running around using that Conspiracy D shotgun. And I don't care about that. I know I talk about the weapon problems, but I'm not great. I'm okay at PvP. I'm about a 1.3 most of the time. I'm averaging like a 1.2 KD in Iron Banner. So I can hold my own. I'll have games where I go 2.0 or above. I'll have games where I also have crappy games where I go into 1.0. But for the most part, I think I'm pretty decent at PvP. I'm not terrible at it. So, I don't mind if people, you're getting killed by the same gun over and over. It just gets annoying, at the time because there's all these different weapon options you could try, and then people just stick to the same 2 or 3 guns, and you're seeing the exact same scout rifles and pulse rifles, and it's like instead of now just getting killed by Thorn and Hawkmoon and Last Word all the time, you're getting killed by there's that Dead Orbit scout rifle that's really good, the Raid pulse rifle, the Villainy pulse rifle from Future War Call. There's all these weapons now. It's the same thing. There's just 4 or 5 power weapons. Red Death now is really ridiculous. It's just the same thing. There's 3 or 4 or 5 power weapons that everybody's going to use instead of having a more varied, process. And of course, the whole thing was they were going to buff auto rifles. No one's using auto rifles. Auto rifles still aren't that good. So, it's just that's the thing. It's just the same old thing over and over and over again. And I'm just really having a hard time sticking with it. And then of course Bungie comes out and they said when Taken King comes out, we want rewards to be more accessible to you guys and you guys to get more gear and more rewards and stuff. And the raid drops are terrible. The RNG is just awful with getting duplicate exotics over and over from engrams and things. Then they nerf weapon parts and the drop rate, for coins and motes and things. And it's like they give you something and they take it away a couple weeks later. It's just, I don't know, guys. And like I said, and of course they threw in the microtransactions, and we know there's potential there for that to get completely out of hand with Activision at the helm. And Luke Smith's out there saying, "Oh, we don't intend to do anything that's going to be pay to win." And I'm like, Luke Smith, dude, who are you fooling? Because it doesn't matter what you say, you don't have control over your own game. Marty O'Donnell showed us this in his lawsuit where they went over the contractual details and showed us all the stuff going on. Activision has final say. So, Luke Smith, if Activision tells you to put microtransactions that'll be pay to win in the game, you're going to get down on your knees and ask them, how long do you want me to suck you off is basically what you're going to do. So it makes me laugh when Luke Smith and Deej and these guys get on Twitter or whatever and start trying to debunk all this stuff like, oh, it's not going to happen. We don't want it to happen. Well, you don't have a choice. If the Activision overlords say that it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And that's the unfortunate thing with Bungie now working with Activision, whereas with Microsoft, they kind of had a little bit of freedom to do what they wanted to do. Anyways, that's enough about Destiny, but moving on, since I just mentioned Microsoft, let's talk a little bit about Halo 5. There's some gameplay of Halo 5 floating around out there on YouTube now. Microsoft has sent out 343 have sent out early review copies for people. And you're starting to see some gameplay pop up there. I've seen the first stage and a little bit of some other stuff. And I got to be honest, so far, I am not impressed with what I've seen from Halo 5, from the campaign at least. It looks The graphics don't really look to be that big of an improvement over Halo 4, which was on the Xbox 360. I think there's still a little too much focus on the Forerunner enemies instead of the Covenant. Of course, I'm disappointed the Flood aren't coming back into Halo. They were one of the greatest enemy groups of all time, and they're not. Of course, they weren't in Halo 4. They're not going to be probably not going to be in Halo 5. I seriously doubt they'd be anywhere in Halo 5. Just a lot of things I didn't really like about it. It just kind of seemed eh. There wasn't really anything impressive about what I've seen so far with the gameplay, and a lot of the weapons just seemed really, I don't know, they just don't sound right. They sound really weird. I don't know. I don't know what 343's done here. Maybe it's just that Halo's just not Halo anymore. It just doesn't have that feeling that it did from Halo 1 through Halo 3 and Halo Reach. I just don't see it anymore. So I'm hoping that either the campaign really ramps it up after the first stage, or that the multiplayer and Warzone is going to be fantastic, because I just did not see a whole lot from the initial 30 minutes of gameplay that people are allowed to be showing out there that really makes me excited for Halo 5. And of course, I'm not pre-ordering the game. I'm going to wait and see when it comes out. But again, just didn't really see too much there to make me excited about it. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have watched it and seen it, I don't know. I want to be hopeful, and 343's done a lot of good things, and they're trying to, always trying to make things right with the community, with their responses and things. They take responsibility when they screw things up and try to make it right. But I just don't know if they're gonna get Halo back to the way it used to feel. I don't know, but still hoping that Warzone game mode is pretty cool. That looked to be like the big highlight of Halo 5. So we'll see. We will see. In terms of games that I'm playing right now, obviously I'm doing a lot of Mass Effect 3 stuff now. I'm trying to get away from doing the Destiny. I don't want to have 17 Destiny videos every week. I want to do games that I enjoy. So I've been working on some Mass Effect videos. I'm doing a series right now where I'm putting out kind of character playthroughs, where I'm going over different characters that I really like to play in the multiplayer. And I'm also, people can, if they would like, can leave in the comments, which builds they'd like to see me try out. So I've actually done 2 videos with that so far. I need to upload those, where I had subscribers actually say, mention what character they wanted to see and what weapons and things like that. So I'll be uploading those probably, maybe one this weekend and maybe one early next week. I'm going to be doing some gold gameplay commentary, and I got another video on the N7 headquarters. I'm going to just be uploading a lot of Mass Effect 3 stuff here pretty soon, so probably going to get bombarded with Mass Effect 3, but it's a great game. I love this game, and I'm playing it here in the background. So that's what I'm going to be working on quite a bit. I'm actually also going to be starting to do a few kind of how-to helpful videos for some people who might be prospective YouTubers. I'm not a big channel. I don't have a whole ton of a YouTube experience, but I'm just going to try to put up some tips and trick videos on things that I've been able to learn how to do, and that I think it's pretty basic stuff. But if it can help somebody out, if it even helps out one person, then it's probably worth it. And also the other game and one of the things that's kind of helping me get away from Destiny is I just recently picked up the Dragon Age Inquisition. Game of the Year edition. I bought it on PlayStation 4 the other night. It was $50. I got it for $50 because I had $10 in my PlayStation wallet. So the Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year edition has the base game. It has all the DLCs. It has all the deluxe editions. So it's like you just get a crap load of content for $50 or $60. I think there's also some good deals out there on either Xbox or PlayStation Store where you can get a pretty good deal on it. And I just, I was like, I need to get a different game to start playing. Something that's a little bit newer, but I considered going back and getting Battlefield 4, which I had for Xbox One and got rid of. I just really wasn't a fan of it early on. And, because I was thinking about it, I was like, I just want to have an enjoyable shooter game to play. It's just, that's part of my problem, is there just aren't really any enjoyable shooters to play anymore. And I was thinking about going back to Battlefield because I really did enjoy the PvP in Battlefield. It's a little bit more objective. And loved Battlefield 3. Battlefield 4 was a little bit of a disappointment, but I was thinking about going back to it now, especially since it's a lot cheaper to get the game and all the DLC stuff. You can get it for a pretty good deal. But, I decided I'm going to just go for a single-player game. And I picked up Dragon Age Inquisition. I downloaded it Wednesday night. And I've already got over 10 hours of play into the game. And I'm having a blast. It's just awesome. and I've got 10 hours into the game, and I'm not even like a tenth of the way through the starting area. There's these just huge, expansive uh, game areas you go into. It's almost like a single-player MMO in a way, but there's just so much different stuff to do. I'm really enjoying the game. The character creator was really great. It was a really big improvement over what they had in Mass Effect. This is the first Dragon Age game I've actually played, so I don't have really much experience with the series, but so far it's been pretty awesome. It's fun having NPCs and just general characters in the game that you develop relationships with. You actually care about some of these characters. You get to have these very long conversations on it. It's not like you just go talk to them to buy weapons and stuff. Even some of the minor NPCs have you can talk to them and get codex entries and things like that. So I really enjoy that part of a lot of these single player campaigns and games. And of course, there's a multiplayer component to Dragon Age. It's also a little bit like the Mass Effect multiplayer, and I'll probably get into that. I don't know if I'm going to be doing videos on it because this is kind of like my fun game that I'm going to just play in the background and enjoy. And not really sure if I want to make that into doing videos on it, but we'll see. Maybe the multiplayer I might, but so far really enjoying Dragon Age Inquisition. There's been some really fun moments. I was exploring the kind of the opening quest world, and I stumbled upon this area with this massive, this huge dragon, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. And as I'm checking it out, of course he takes off and fireballs me and one shots the entire party, and it's like, whoa, wait a second, that's not cool. But hey, it was just so cool to see this massive dragon flying around and setting things on fire, and it's just been a great experience. It's been a really fun game. The graphics look really good on the PlayStation 4. And just having a lot of fun with it. It's just refreshing to play a game that's got a really great dedicated single player campaign and lots of the content is crazy. I'm going around killing bandits and then going after closing down rifts and killing demons, and then there's one part of the game where you get your first mount. You get your horse, and you can actually sit there and spend time doing horse where you can race through a obstacle course on your horse and unlock some more gear and stuff. So there's just been a lot of stuff to do, a lot of content to play in the game. There's a lot of different classes too. It's definitely a game I think I'm going to be replaying quite a bit, like Mass Effect, just to try out some of the different classes. I went with the warrior class with the two-handed weapons. I'm basically just a giant tank, and I just run in and aggro the whole group, and then I let my teammates or my squad mates from a distance with their ranged attacks just rain down hellfire, and it's been a great experience. So really happy I went ahead and purchased that. I was a little bit reluctant to get it when it came out because the funny thing is I played Mass Effect for so long. I'm I want this sci-fi game for my single player campaign, and I was a little bit reluctant with Dragon Age because I was kind of just tired of the fantasy RPG type thing. And I was after I played Mass Effect, I got really spoiled on the sci-fi aspect of it, and I was like, I don't want to go back to the whole Lord of the Rings type thing. But have been watching a lot of videos on it and decided I really needed, after all the lackluster games that have been coming out lately, I'm I really just need to get a really solid game where I can spend hours upon hours in it and not get bored and have a lot to do and have lots of content to play. So just finally decided to pick up Dragon Age. And I have been very happy. If anything, it has just reaffirmed my faith in BioWare that they can still make excellent games. And it's just made me even more excited for Mass Effect Andromeda, because I think, it's funny, even though EA is with BioWare, it's almost like EA is one, they can screw up all their other games, but it's like with BioWare, it's like they're smart enough to not mess with it. Okay, guys, just put some microtransactions in there, let people be able to buy packs and stuff, but other than that, you guys make your own game, do what you want. It's like they're smart enough to realize if they screw up BioWare, it's like people are really going to be upset. But it's pretty refreshing to go through and play a game with so much detailed content, and they've got codex and stuff. All of it's in game. You can access it all right there from the pause menu. It's amazing that certain companies with a tenth of the budget of some of these AAA titles can put so much into these games. And, you can tell it's not about just making a watered-down product to sell to the masses. So it's been refreshing to play some Dragon Age. That's going to be do it. We're going to about do it here. We're kind of getting towards the end. One thing I will say is I'm kind of falling off the No Man's Sky bandwagon. And I think it's just because we're not getting much information on the game. I'm really starting to get a little worried about that. This is a game I really was looking very forward to playing, even possibly streaming on PlayStation 4, because I think the single-player experience is going to be so much different for everybody. It's going to be kind of a cool game to stream and do YouTube videos on. But there just hasn't been much news about it. And of course, there were some fake articles the other day about how the release date was going to be October 27th. And then most of those turned out to be clickbait titles, and just I saw a couple people who had actually done videos on that, and then they pulled them after they found out it was just all BS and some clickbait. But yeah, it's just very concerning that we don't have any information yet on what's going on with this game. And it's like, this is a game everybody is looking. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. There's a lot of attention for this game, and you would think someone like Sony would be like willing to give up the details. You'd think Hello Games would be wanting to let people know when it was coming out, or even putting it up for pre-order so they could start making some money. It's just I just wish we get some concrete, solid information. But for the time being, right now, I'm kind of just tempering my expectations, and I don't even know if the game's ever going to come out at this point. We have no idea. So I'm just going to enjoy Dragon Age, and that's going to be it. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys are having a great Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll go ahead and let the end of this video play here. There's a few more minutes left here if you guys want to watch the rest of the gold gameplay here on Mass Effect 3. Feel free to leave your comments below. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know what games you guys are playing right now, what you're looking forward to, especially Halo 5. Let me know what you think so far of what you've seen of it. Like I said, I'm really not too impressed with what I've seen so far of the early gameplay release and things like that. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.
Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.